So we'd like to welcome you both in today, Mr. Milankovich and Ms. Hanson. We understand there is a ongoing, dispute between the two of you, and that's why you guys are going to be here today. We are here to serve as third parties in an exchange of conversation between the two of you, to facilitate, a better stream of conversation that you guys are hopefully going to be able to follow in order to resolve your problem. Remember that, going into this, that everything that you guys have already experienced has already happened, that is already done. While we can converse about it today, there's nothing we can do to alter past actions. So do keep in mind that we're here to maintain a progressive mindset. Anything that is said here today is confidential between the four of us, so it will not be shared outside of this mediation session. Anything else you want to add?
Let's just keep the lines of communication open and just try and be thoughtful of the other's thoughts and feelings, and let's begin.
Alright, so Ms. Hanson, Mr. Milankovich, is either one of you guys like to go first? Okay, so go ahead and start with you, Mr. Milankovich.
There's not much to say. I live in this place and I follow the rules as everyone else has. Why can't they follow the rules?
And now when you talk about rules, what rules in particular are you talking about?
I'm talking about the homeowner association rules, bylaws.
Okay.
Everyone here, before they move in, they have to look over a document, sign it, and they agree to it. Most of that has to deal with, or at least my problem is, the swimming pool. My family and I, whenever we go there, because the rules say that an owner of the household has to be there, I go. I take the time out to let my kids and family have fun. They never do that. They just let the kids go.
What kids? Our Croatian student is 18 years old.
Okay.
There is no kids.
How come you don't
I
reference
understand
that?
that there is, a lot that you both have to say. So for the time being, let's just go ahead and give a bit of respect to one another, and you guys will each have time to express your respective viewpoints on the situation. But go ahead and continue, Mr. Milankovich.
To be honest, I don't even know if that student should be allowed to be here. I mean, it's not her son or anything like that. It's just a student that stays here. Maybe it's her boyfriend or something like that. I don't know. So really, if anything, if he's gonna stay, he's gonna have to pay rent like the rest of us, and then I wouldn't have a problem. But he's freeloading. He's using the pool when he wants, without any supervision, which is a violation of the law that we have here. So what makes them special? What makes them able to do that? Whereas if I let my child go, I would get in trouble immediately. I don't get it.
So you're feeling like the laws are affecting you guys differently in regard, in that, the 18-year-old Croatian student isn't required to be supervised or whatever while at the pool, whereas your child would be, correct?
No, it doesn't make sense. Actually, no, that's not how I see it. The way I see it is, the laws aren't even being enforced, mainly because she has, some connections with the people that are living here, and so she's taking advantage of that, letting her student take advantage of that, and yeah, that's how I feel about the laws. I don't feel like it's affecting us differently, because it's not affecting us at all, apparently.
So you're saying they're showing her special treatment?
Yes.
And have you confronted them about that in any
Yes,
instances?
I have.
And how did that?
Well, apparently they see me as a hateful person. Look, I'm not hateful. I just know how to be safe. And apparently with them, the way they are breaking these laws, I can't live
We're
with someone
doing
who...
nothing dangerous.
You are
Nothing
breaking the law.
dangerous.
If you break one, you're going to
You
break
are
them
the
all.
only one with a problem.
Yeah.
There's nothing against the law.
Ms. Hanson, I understand that you have a lot that you would like to express as well. Let's go ahead and try to keep it at a civil level here until we get back back around to you guys, and then as soon as we're done with that, you guys will have more than enough time to talk to one another. Mr. Milankovich?
You know, to be honest, that's it. I just want that student to either pay up or get out. And that will be her way of following our laws.
I mean, how do you feel like him paying would rectify the situation?
Everyone here who pays is a member of this household or their apartment, whatever it is, that however they like to live. If they're paying for it, that's their property. That's their right to be there.
So
And he's not paying.
is she not paying like her mortgage or rent on time now? Like,
Well, she's doing that, but he's not.
so, he should be paying like extra? Is that what you're saying, or do you?
He's not paying anything.
I mean, but I guess my underlying question would be where does money come into play in regards to the bylaws?
And having a guest stay, is that stated anywhere in the contract that the homeowners association?
From what I know, the bylaws say if you want to have people swimming in the pool, they just have to be accompanied by a house owner. That's it.
Okay.
And if the house owner isn't there, then you can't let your kids be there.
Now, is that the core problem that you're experiencing, or is there more to the situation? Have there been other instances or other potential points of contention between yourself and Miss Hanson, or has it just been the single incident with the student at the pool?
Well, it's not a single incident. They do it all the time. Back and forth, back and forth. The student, her daughter who doesn't even live here anymore. I didn't have a problem with the daughter coming in, you know, because the daughter was a member of her household. As for the student, I don't know if that really is a family member or a boyfriend or anything like that.
So
But really,
to me, it seems like you have a certain degree of distrust.
yeah,
Okay, so what is causing that degree of distrust?
I just don't like the guy. That's it.
So then it's not about the bylaws, but rather about how you personally feel about the student himself. Right? I mean,
The student isn't.
you just said that it's not, you know, you were fine with her daughter, but you don't trust him because you don't like him, correct?
No, I don't trust him because I don't like him. I don't like him because he doesn't follow the rules. How's this not making sense?
I'm not saying that it doesn't make sense.
We're just trying to get a better understanding.
So have you personally had any communication with the student to attempt to maybe clarify the rule with him? Maybe he's unaware.
For me, it would be pointless to even talk to the student.
Why?
I don't want to talk to someone who isn't a person who's paying anything for, to be a living person in this
Right,
vicinity.
but according to you, that's where the problem is really being experienced.
Yeah. It'd just be of better help if the person you're having problem with, you at least confronted them to let them know at least your feelings in the sense that he's not following the rules to the extent explained in the
Yeah, but-
contract.
I don't feel like I have to talk to him.
Okay. You were, obviously, we've all been young at some point in our lives. You know, when you were 18, were you aware of all the bylaws that, you know, that may have been involved in your personal living situation?
No.
Okay, so then we have to understand that this is an 18-year-old student that we're talking about. So we can't expect him to know the bylaws either, right? Not all of them. And you know, he's not I guess, native to this area. So, you know, there are certain times where he will have to readjust to things he learns.
I don't really like listening to this. It feels like you're defending the guy.
I'm not defending anyone. I'm here.
Certainly as hell feels like it.
No, I am simply helping you explore other points of view.
No one ever explored my life.
I'm
I got thrown into, you know, a shithole. at a very young age. I didn't, just get help from people. I stood up for myself. I did all that. This kid is gonna have to go through some kind of struggle in his life and shouldn't be doing it for free.
And we don't know that he has or hasn't already.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's not make this about the experiences that separate you guys as individuals, but rather what is separating you guys on the problem of him being in the pool, which, going back to your earlier comments, has to do with your distrust of him.
Let's rework this actually.
Okay.
Because my problem is that the student is breaking the law, right?
Okay.
And I don't like him because he keeps doing it.
Okay.
Now,
But we have.
but I'm not going to talk to the kid because that's not the person I should be talking to. If I want to tackle something, I'm going to go to the root of it. And I'm going to talk to the house owner,
Okay.
who should be there.
And so you attempted to talk to Miss Hanson?
I have sent her a letter, and I received one back. Clearly, she understands. Well, in a sense, understands. She read it at the very least.
Okay, and how did that line of communication proceed after your initial letter?
As I said, she thinks I'm hurtful and hateful. But I didn't see any resolution in there.
I mean, it's, if it was a single letter, it's sometimes possible that those things, I mean, not that they get lost, but it's more of a single transaction versus a verbal interaction that, again, you guys are now having. It's different. There's no back-to-back exchange. It is a one-sided, expression.
Well, not understand. It's for me. You're saying that there's going to be a conversation between us.
Right.
I'm not seeing any conversation right
Right
now. I'm just
now,
talking to you.
Correct.
I quite frankly
This
don't
is
understand.
this is the way that the mediatory process goes. I'm here to listen to your perspective first. That's our initial step. And then we're going to listen to Ms. Hanson's perspective, and then we are going to allow you guys to speak more directly to one another.
And I'm supposed to just let her say, "Oh, he's hateful, hurtful, hateful, hurtful."
We're here to create more constructive conversation than that is our role in this. We're not here to, promote one
I'm
side
not
over
seeing
the
it.
other.
I don't see it.
Please give it time to manifest. That is why you're here today.
It's a process.
It's like many things in life, it requires time. So I do ask that, you remain patient, just give this situation time in this room.
Right. Time is not what that we had. As soon as I sent the letter, she sent a letter. Here we are. We didn't get a chance to speak, but I don't quite care about that. I care about having the problem resolved.
And that is what we are here to hopefully do today. So, just bear with us through these questions so we can get a little bit more information about both sides of the conversation. And we will make it through this. So let's go ahead and go back to the letter and the conversation. You said that was just one letter exchange back and forth, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And how did you go about informing or attempting to bring up the conflict to Ms. Hanson? Like within the bounds of the letter?
Within the bounds of the letter. I said that I think that she must be thinking that she is special or something because she's breaking the law and she still continues to do it. I don't even know if she's going to take responsibility of the other person's action in her household. I haven't seen her done it just yet, really I just said she needs to change what she's doing, own up to to the rules, see the student at the pool, and that's it. Otherwise, I just want the student to either do that with Mrs. Hanson, or she can have him just start paying. That's what I said.
But according to the bylaw, correct? You told us that it requires a homeowner to be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are aware that even though he pays, he will not be a homeowner, right?
No, if he pays, he can get his own.
He'll be a
place.
tenant, right? But he'll still be living with Miss Hanson, correct?
No, he'll have his own place. If we all pay, we're all in our own area.
So you're suggesting that he gets his own place to live?
That's what I am suggesting. Have the guy move out and start paying on his own.
I mean, but is someone's,
He's just a visitor to the community college.
He's been visiting for a long time.
He's,
I think he's more than that.
he's staying for 2 years.
Oh, you would
Because
like
he's
that,
a
wouldn't
guest.
you?
okay, let's go ahead and decrease the hostility that is starting to rise up. Is there anything else that you would like to explore or bring up in regards to how the situation has gone or how you would like it to go? What you're looking for out of this?
I'm looking for
I mean,
people to follow the rules,
Okay.
and I want this person to either, not her, but the student, to start paying for his own or getting out. To be honest, it's not that hard. If you want them to go use the pool, go with them like everyone else does.
Now, if that's not a possible solution, what would be any other alternatives that you could possibly think of? Because if he may not be able to afford his own place, what do you think would be another solution to that?
Then just start paying. Start paying with her, and then he'll be fine.
Right,
So if he can start paying and participating in our community rather than just freeloading and slacking and just having history reoccur, then I'll be fine. I'll be just fine.
I mean, it seems like the financial aspect of the situation is, kind of bringing up a lot of problems for you.
It's not so much a financial problem. The problem is that you're not following the rules.
Right, but there's, I understand that the rule states that, there has to be a homeowner while any guests are present. But, you keep bringing up how you would like for him to pay and not be a freeloader. But I'm wondering, I guess my question is, how do you foresee that changing any aspect of the situation, really? Because if you, let's say he stays with Miss Hanson, right,
Mm-hmm.
and starts paying money, which is one of the things you've expressed that you would like to see, he's still not a homeowner, right? And you've also expressly said that you want him to participate in the community. I'd imagine to, help culture trust between yourself and...
When I say participate in the community, I mean to just do your part. I don't care if he participates in anything other than just paying and getting the right to do what he wants. That's the very least you can do if you can't afford to live here on your own,
So,
student or not.
if he still isn't able to come up with the money, say, since Miss Hanson's providing for him, would you like her to be charging more and she pay that for him, or would you like that to come out of his pockets? Is it something personally about him that you would like him to pay, or is it more so just the household in general?
I don't think she should pay more. That just makes it easy for him again. I want the person to participate in what we have established here. And if he doesn't, he's just gonna get out of hand, and it's gonna just be over and over breaking different rules, maybe. Who knows?
Do you realize his circumstances? He's only came to visit to attend school in the area, so he's only a visitor for a limited amount of time. He's not here to stay.
In some neighborhoods that we have around here, your visitor can't stay longer than 3 days. The person's been here for months.
I mean, is that something that, do you know if that's something that goes against the bylaws in your community?
I would assume so.
I mean, that's, without knowing, an assumption is not much validation to that fact. And we can't go off of speculation in this sort of case.
With the way I am, all I have is my eyes to see and my logic to put behind it. And look, I see a person who's freeloading, and he's getting away with breaking laws while he's freeloading. So what in our society allows that?
At this,
It's messed up my family.
This is not
plenty of
a,
time.
this is not a, I mean, I do understand that, you know, you've clearly had personal struggles regarding financing as well as, you know, structure, in terms of society. But this problem that we're talking about is focusing on, according, you know, for you, it's coming from a financial standpoint, what you're referring to as a freeloading standpoint, and as well as a ethical, law-abiding standpoint, right? So you want to make sure that he's paying and not simply using, you know, public facilities for free, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you want to make sure that he's abiding by the rules that have been set by the homeowners association.
Yes.
Okay. So, are those are your two primary concerns, correct?
Yeah. I don't want him to be seen as someone special or to act like someone special.
And when you say act like someone special, I'm guessing that you mean in terms of going to the pool and
Not being accompanied.
Yes.
okay. So in terms of, I mean, I guess I am still not clear on how that is personally affecting you. I mean, I understand how it could affect the community, I understand that. But I'm saying how that is relevant to you as an individual. I understand your concern again for, you know, the safety of the premises and whatnot, but beyond that, I'm not quite there when it comes to understanding
Your specific, I guess, problem with the student, like, since he has broken the law, the homeowners association law, but
beyond that, there's been no damage and
yeah, he hasn't vandalized any of the property, or he hasn't,
I don't like
you
your
understand.
logic, both of you. Because he's done one thing, but he hasn't done these.
no, that's
It doesn't make sense.
I'm saying that there is a profound amount of
Things he hasn't done.
No, that's beside the point. I'm saying there's a profound amount of on your end, not there's something that is beyond the homeowners association because it seems like the issue is going beyond that because it's not that okay, sure, there was no homeowner there, but he is over the age of 18, correct? You know, people at that age are generally able to well monitor themselves. They don't, you know, there's been no vandalization, there's no exploitation of self.
So you're saying he can take care of himself, but he can't abide by a simple law of bringing the homeowner.
Right, and we're still not really sure if he's aware of this bylaw.
And
Oh, I'm sorry, but I thought, you know, living here for a good while, I thought not knowing is still a crime. Is that not true?
No, it is.
And-
That
and
doesn't
it is-
diminish the law.
But it's up to the homeowners association to enforce and actually punish those who break the law. So the reason we're here with you and Miss Hanson seems to have at least a deeper meaning than just him being able to go to the pool without a
As I said, I just feel like he could do that on his own. That's when you guys asked me what would a good solution be for him to do something. The main problem is she's not taking responsibility for it.
And what would you like her to do?
Accompany the kid, make him pay, anything like that, abide by the laws.
Okay, and how do you feel about that?
I mean, I feel like you haven't heard my story. I just want to get the facts straight. I have gotten permission to have the student lived with us for 2 years.
From the homeowners association?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I have a cough.
Fine.
But-
Okay.
The bylaws say nothing about the members of a household needing to be related to us in order to be a member of the household, and be able to swim. He doesn't have to have a swim membership because he is officially a member of our household. So if I'm paying for everything, he's technically a member because we invited him. He's friends with our daughter,
Right.
and we're just doing this favor because he doesn't have money, and we're helping him because he is going to college. So we're just doing a favor for him. We're doing nothing wrong. He decides to send me a nasty email talking about how much he just doesn't like him around, how we're not obeying the laws. What is he talking about? He is a member of the household.
Right, but, so according to, I mean, this is for either one of you to answer, I don't have this knowledge. Now, is him having been validated by the homeowners association, does that make him an association member? Or is that,
There is no rules if that he has to be a member. He's part of the household. My daughter's a manager.
So anyone
Or-
can be in the household.
I mean,
So that, him being in your household gives him the authority to go to the pool unattended, unsupervised?
Yeah, he's 18 years old. He's old enough. He's part of the household. So he is
You know, not to,
able.
that's ridiculous. If I brought a homeless person into my household and they were over 18, would I allow them to go use the swimming pool and be with all the other children, all the other adults, and do that? That's what I'm here for.
I would assume, I mean, according, what, the information I've been provided about your guys' bylaw is that it requires that any, guest that you guys have, be accompanied by an association member, if they're not an association member themselves, right? That's,
No. Member of the household, apparently. But,
Right.
now I have another problem.
The association membership goes by household. He's a part of the household.
And how did
So
he get
he's-
that? He asked for it and you just give it.
but
That's
that
ridiculous.
that does not change the de facto situation that he is a member of that household according to the House Owners Association.
How
So
he obtained, his residence is
that's,
irrelevant to the situation.
Irrelevant. It's
not,
ridiculous.
while it may not be irrelevant to you, it holds no weight when we're talking about the bylaw itself. So although
I didn't come here to have you tell me what I think
I did,
holds no weight.
I wasn't
And-
expressing what you think holds no weight. In terms of this situation, we are abiding, again, you want to abide by the bylaws, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so, abiding by the law, as long as he's a guest, as long as he has been validated, then he has the right to use the facilities.
Okay. I can take that.
Okay.
But what I can't take now, as I've said, is the idea that he got it just for asking.
But
That doesn't make sense.
okay.
That's too easy for people like him. And really,
And when
I never got something like that. My family never got something like that. Many of the people that we know never had anything just by asking.
But
This just ties into what I'm saying. They think they're special and so they can do this because they have these connections with the people who own the place.
it has nothing to do with special treatment, because if you had a family or friend, associate that wanted to come and stay in your house and for an extended period of time, You could talk to the homeowners association as well, and they'd be presented those same benefits.
Apparently I do have to talk to the homeowner association. This is ridiculous.
Is that not something you've done yet?
No, I didn't think I would have to.
Okay.
I figured if I would talk to her,
Okay.
having be the person that lives in that household, you know, and paying for it, that she would take responsibility and get the person in check.
But it seems she,
Hasn't.
according to Ms. Hanson, she followed the proper steps in making sure that he was considered a member of her household.
Mhm. Steps I didn't know of until now.
But are you a member of the board that precedes these?
No, I am.
Then-
I am
Maybe I
honored.
would have told you if you didn't yell at me in the email. It's very rude.
Wouldn't
I mean,
you?
I
Would it
don't know
make more
what-
sense to explain things to me rather than calling me a person that just sends nothing but hate and hates and hates and more hates?
I mean, what do you want me to explain to you?
You know,
I did explain it to you. My daughter is a coach and he's a part of the household. That's what I said to you. I
that's
mean,
not
did
much
you-
explaining. That's kind of like the top of a spin top.
Because it doesn't affect you. Like, how does this affect you? Why?
Because I'm a part of this community. Is it that hard for you to see?
Okay, so
If you wanted to bring in a student or do something nice for someone, you can. I mean, but
And why would
you
it,
want to be
why is
grump
it-
about it. You
it
want to
would be
be
so much harder
okay,
for me to do that.
so let's take it back just a moment. It seems you wish that this had been more expressively communicated to pretty much the rest of the members of your guys' association. That they would then be having a new member staying with them for a period of time. That's what it seems like you would have preferred, right? Like,
You were misinformed, and you didn't know about the rule changes for the homeowners association.
so kind of you
How-
kind of
how-
felt sideswiped. Is that
That's
fair
a way
enough?
to put it.
Do you guys know how many members are included in your association?
No.
Okay. With any large.
270, I
Okay.
believe.
So with 270 members, that's a lot of people to communicate the circumstance of one individual to, right? In the grand scheme of things, right? That's 270 households, not just single individuals, but households that information would have to therefore be distributed to. That, I mean, in terms of a personal life change, right? Let's just assume you had, taken someone into your home. Would you personally feel the need to explain that to all 300 plus people? Would you feel expected to?
You know, it sounds like a democracy here. Like, no, it's not about talking to everybody. It's about talking to the people who own the place. And I feel like if you don't have special connections to people that own the place, sometimes you get treated a little bit special.
Well,
So you feel like you've been discriminated against by the homeowners association?
I feel like we all have been discriminated against because they're breaking the law and they're getting away with it.
How are they breaking the law? In your opinion?
Well, what I was thinking was that they broke the law for bringing the person into the pool, or
But
the pool area.
but instead, the homeowners association just failed to inform you that she had a new resident.
No one told me that. I
But
found
that
out when I
is-
saw
that
it.
was the missing information that led you to think that he was breaking the law.
Well, it matters because I live here.
He's
What-
done
what-
nothing to you. He's minding his own business. He's going to school. He just went to go swimming for a little bit. How does that affect you?
He's in the area that I'm in. It doesn't make me feel safe.
so
Do I need a reason to feel unsafe?
I would. You don't need a reason, but I would like to explore what about him or what about that situation makes you feel unsafe.
Has there been
The
any?
boy is a freeloader.
But how
So
does that make
him-
you feel, at risk or have your protection at risk?
The boy is a freeloader. At first I thought he was breaking the law. And regardless, the boy has been there in the same household with them, doing whatever.
He's
God
only
knows
been
what.
with us for a month. Officially a month now.
Okay.
Still, I don't like the guy being here.
So
And I don't feel safe about it, so I'm gonna speak
I think
up.
this has to do with
Alright,
racism. I think he's just racist.
Does it matter? What if I am racist?
is,
It's like a personal problem.
is it,
I can't help you. Like, what?
is it,
Yeah,
do
you
you,
can't.
do you feel like, I mean, you know, just following this conversation, do you feel like race is something that is contributing to your,
dislike toward the students staying there?
or your lack of, your feelings of lack of safety?
Look, my people have been oppressed for a good while. And there are people who get away with things for a good while. Having this kid get these things for free is just a repeat of history that I don't want to see again. And I'm going to stand up for that. Even if it's something as small as going near the pool. Boy is in my area, I don't want to feel like, you know, he's going to do anything.
But isn't it everyone's area, everyone in the home association, it is not explicitly,
Yeah, it is everyone's area.
okay.
So if one person has a problem, can they not speak up?
Right, they can, that is obviously your individual right, as much as it is individual right to go to that pool. Right, there is, I mean, on no side is there a conflict, I mean, according, you know, we've covered the bylaw, we've covered how that's actually satisfied according to the homeowners association, we've covered how you feel like, you know, it is unsafe, we've addressed your concern in regards to the bylaw, right? And now we're exploring this conversation where it's a personal dislike for this individual.
You know what I want? I want the boy to work. Earn something.
So, but why do you feel like that holds so much weight in this,
Because
this
my
issue?
people and I have done so.
So
We've
it's,
gone
it does,
through
so then it does have to do with
Culture.
race, or however you, whatever aspect you personally feel like is altering that. That's coming in between.
Him staying with Miss Hanson and swimming in the pool.
I mean, you feel like somehow that his, you know, culture, ethnicity is contributing to him not paying, which you feel is unacceptable.
I do.
Okay, so how then do you feel that? I'm just curious because now that it's brought up, it is something I feel like we should explore. How do you feel like that's affecting the situation? I mean, from my perspective, it just seems like, you know, there's a personal distaste for this individual or this individual's, you know, ethnic group or cultural group.
He's Croatian.
Okay, and how do you feel like that affects you? Like, how does that personally have an impact on you or this situation?
I feel like his people are just untrustworthy, and they
Okay,
take advantage as much.
So now we've gotten to the core of your distrust is, it's not because he's violated the law or that you believe he was violating the law. It's not that you felt like he's not actually contributing, but rather you don't trust him because of a group he belongs to inherently by biology.
You could say that. I mean, really, even if he's not breaking the law, he's still freeloading and doing as these people have done for years now.
But that's not the case. An individual should not be defined by the actions or past transgressions of a group they belong to. An individual is an individual. Individual circumstances vary from individual to individual, right? There are experiences that I'm sure, you know, some of the people you identify with have not, you know, experiences that you don't share and circumstances that set you guys apart. I don't know this Serbian student's personal circumstances, what sets him apart, but it seems like you are categorizing him with the rest of his group.
People struggle every day. Should it be that the people are judged? No. But are they? Yes. I so happen to be one of the people that are still judging based on what I've seen.
But you just said.
And as I
said-
said, it's by my eyes and by my logic, this is how I've lived and this is how I still see it. You're not gonna change an old man's thought process.
I don't have to.
And-
You just said that people shouldn't be targeted like that, so let's not target them like that. That's not changing your perspective.
You're not hearing what I said.
I am.
I said that I will still do that because it's in my nature. I'm not gonna change how I think. And
Then why are we here?
quite frankly,
He
I would like
doesn't
to
wanna
hear what you
change
have to say.
anything.
See, that's ridiculous. I want change. I just want some kind of change. Because this boy is freeloading, and that's unacceptable. And at first I thought it was breaking the law. Okay, he wasn't. But he's still freeloading.
And
Now-
so,
But it doesn't affect you.
Yeah,
We're
but-
paying to live there.
It
He's
doesn't
part of the
affect-
household.
It does affect me.
the mediation, we have no
It's a personal
domain.
problem.
We have no domain over what the student does in his personal life, so your dislike toward him freeloading or living off of Mrs. Swanson, we don't have the
Hanson.
authority to force him.
That would be
Miss Hanson.
a conversation for Miss Hanson and, this individual. It's not, I mean, in terms of, what you're referring to as freeloading, it seems like all of his expenses have been covered. So if, Miss Hanson feels like at some point he is freeloading with her, that would be a conversation for them. It's not, because in terms of freeloading from you or the community, that's irrelevant as long as everything is covered and all fees are paid.
The boy gets a free house because she pays for it. He gets to use the pool. He gets to use the towels we have. He gets to wipe his face on everything that we have. How is that not freeloading if she's the one paying for everything?
But that is.
But you wouldn't even know all that if I didn't tell you that. If I sat here and said, well, he's working, he's doing housework to pay off for things, and he's running errands or doing things for us in order to pay back. If I told you that, would it make a difference?
Yes. The boy would have worked.
Either way.
And this is why I said you should tell me. Explain things. Just letting me know that I'm a hateful person isn't explaining. This is a problem because people like her don't see us as people who have issues.
And I know.
But I should, understand that you have these personal issues towards him, towards his race. I'm supposed
You should at
to
least not disregard it.
understand, oh, you're racist. Okay, I understand. Let me bow down because you're racist and you have a problem with it. So I don't,
I mean, there's.
I don't even know if it's
Let's-
so much as being racist if I don't like people.
I mean, it seems like, this conflict is directed solely at this individual from what you've explained towards, and it's this sort of, these feelings that you do have are based on race, correct?
Yes.
By definition, that would be racism.
Mhm.
That's, and while there is nothing we can do to personally alter your perspective on that, we are fully understanding, but for the sake of this conversation, you guys as individuals, clearing up the problem at hand, we have to be able to disregard that, because in terms of what we're here to talk about, which is the breaking of the bylaw, race is not a substantial factor. It's not a tangible factor, and there's nothing we can do to change that.
Although I might become off as racist, well, let's put it this way, I might not like the guy because he is Croatian. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean I'm gonna go hurt the kid? No. Rather, I'm a person who's more perspective, I'll say, who rather would watch and learn. So what I've seen, and as I've said, give me the benefit of the doubt here, I've seen that he goes use the swimming pool. You know, I don't think he pays, and he's been not participating as a homeowner in that sense. And so for me, I thought it was wrong. I brought it up. So you can say it's racist. You can say it doesn't matter that I'm racist. Great, but you can't disregard the idea that I've paid more attention. Now, after you've told me that he's working, you know, he's doing something. Look, all I can say is I didn't know that. And I've been there, I've worked, but I didn't know that he worked. So, with that said, I mean, could I get proof or something? It doesn't make sense if you're just gonna let him do these things and
What difference does it make? That's my personal
because it makes
business.
me worried that the kid is a freeloader and he's abusing that power.
It doesn't make any
So-
difference to you if he's working or not working.
It does make a difference.
I'm still, it doesn't. It doesn't affect you.
Well, it seems as though you're having trouble viewing it maybe from his perspective. I
Yeah,
understand.
I see him as being ignorant.
I understand you may feel that way, but do you have kids?
Yes.
So maybe if you could try and put yourself in his shoes, you're living in a neighborhood, and one of your neighbors has a new teenager staying at their house, and you've never seen the person before, and he's been at the pool, and it's your first time seeing him, and he's been around for a couple weeks.
That's great.
You may be worried, especially if you haven't met the person, or they may have.
No, it's a teenager. I'm sure they probably don't have enough money to even rent a house to stay in.
That sounds
And they need to
really
be in
very
school.
ignorant.
How does that
Maybe
sound
maybe
ignorant?
being racist
I
helps you
understand.
helps
I
open your eyes
understand
to the
that young
situation.
people don't have enough money and they can't afford their own
But they
place
can
to stay.
earn money. They can still work.
While going to school, they
Yes.
But you also
I'm
have to
helping.
understand that
I'm making someone's life easier.
she's
You're
privileged
putting the
enough
rest of us down.
to help a student have an easier path to finishing school, and so his life choices, or his life circumstances, I should say, you have no domain over, and there's no way we have the authority to force him to do something because of his people, or a feeling that you may have toward him or his people that he may have it too easy. We're not here to change any of that. We're here to solve the initial problem, which is you not liking him because he's of a certain descent.
I mean, that factored into your perspective on him breaking the bylaws, as well as, you know, the fact that you feel like him not paying or him not working has heavily contributed to this situation that we're here to discuss today. I mean, it is while it is a community that you guys are both part of, any personal life choices that are made on behalf of Ms. Hansen, or, you know, the individual staying with her right now, much like you are entitled to your own personal decisions regarding how you handle your finances or the people that you take care of, she also has the same authority as does each one of us. We can't change that. We also can't change the bylaw. And so we can really only go by what we know. And what we know is that he is covered under the homeowners association as a part of Ms. Hansen's household. Right? He has not taken actions against anyone in the community or disregarded any actual laws regarding, you know, property.
So this is going to go nowhere,
That's not what we're here, that's,
because I think I
That's-
understand.
no, that's a very condemning perspective to have at this point. We're still here to explore this and find resolution, but we, in terms of resolution, what we can do is just make sure that you guys are both clear on this today.
Seeing eye to eye, but it seems as though we don't have the authority to change the situation that, the way you'd like it to be changed. If anything, that's between you, and
Me
Ms.
and
Hanson
the homeowner
personally,
association.
or exactly, you and
And-
the homeowners association.
As I said, I get it. My problem is not with you now. It's clearly from here. I understand that I need to take it up with other people.
Okay.
And you
Good
can
luck.
see me as someone that's racist. You can see me as a hateful person. Truth is, I'm worried for my own safety. And
What
that's
I
not
do
gonna
in
change.
my household is my
Business.
personal issue. It is my business. It's my money. It's my home, and whoever I want to pay for or help is my choice, and it's your choice too. And I have nothing against you bringing someone, a guest, or helping someone out. You can do that too.
And look, it's good for you to help people. Just don't let them freeload. I didn't know you were making him pay in some sort. Whatever. That's fine. I will take this to the Housing Association.
Before I just want to make sure that we've addressed both sides here, and we've spent a good amount of time covering, you know, what you would like to see out of this. So I'm now going to offer the same courtesy to Ms. Hanson. What are you looking for out of the situation? What is your perspective, you know, takeaway from today?
I mean, I would like to receive an apology for his irrational email that he sent me. That was basically telling me that I am very wrong for having a guest over and that I have no right to have a guest over, and what I was doing was breaking the law, which was far from that. So I think I do deserve an apology.
Okay. Do you feel like the situation has been clarified more for you through this mediation today? I mean, in terms of
Yes.
student, okay.
Yes, it has been clarified just fine. I will not say sorry because I was scared.
Okay. But again, you know, like I said at the beginning, we're not talking about past actions, right? We're here moving forward, and you know, if you know, there's no monetary exchange involved in this mediation. She is simply asking for an apology, whether you wholeheartedly mean it. You know, that's you. There's nothing we can do to change that. But I mean, if that is one thing that is going to, you know, help her feel a little bit better, you know, I mean, I don't know what, it seems like you having more information made you feel better about the situation, right? Being more informed, that's what you were looking for?
Yes.
Okay. So we've satisfied, you know, at least one portion of what you were looking for to get out of this meeting, you know. So is you know, a potential sorry that Ms. Hanson is seeking for, is that entirely out of grasp? Is that something that you
Would you accept an apology that isn't sincere?
I mean, I wouldn't know if it's sincere or not, so I don't know why you would say that.
I already said it wasn't.
He's implying that if you were
I don't
to
think anyone would accept a insincere apology, so you're asking me the wrong question.
Then
I don't know if you're
No,
trying to be
but-
smart
Then the
or...
apology is out of order.
so
He doesn't feel comfortable.
so you do
giving
not
an
feel
apology.
comfortable with that?
I don't know.
You don't know, or you do
No,
not?
I do not.
Okay. So, I mean, obviously, Ms. Hanson, that's not something that is going to be reciprocated today.
At least at the moment.
Could we, is there any chance that?
I do apologize.
You'll be sorry once you take this to the homeowners association and you talk to them and nothing
I was
happens.
about to say, sincerely,
Let's-
I am sorry for being misinformed.
It's not.
But as I can see, it doesn't matter.
It's too late.
Yes.
In what regard? It's, I mean, you just said, it's too late, but how so? I mean, there's still obviously much to be done for the both of you guys in repairing whatever, civil relationship you guys have as members of this homeowners association. Because moving forward, that's all you guys can do is really strive to improve upon this situation, which, I mean, it's been frustrating for both of you, I'm sure, but it's not something that neither one, that can't be worked on by the both of you guys. So, yes, I'm sure there are tensions. We're not asking you to walk out of here friends or entirely respect one another. We can't enforce that. But we're just asking to make sure that there's a civil understanding between the two of you today. And I just want to make sure that we've, covered all of your concerns and, we've attempted to somehow satisfy both of your needs here.
Yes.
Well, I'm genuinely happy that I got to inform him about my guest and let him know that I'm not breaking the law. So I'm happy about this.
And do you feel like you've adequately expressed yourself today as well
I do.
as? Okay. So in terms of this mediation, are there any lasting terms that you guys would like to have extend beyond this meeting? Or has this been satisfactory for the both of you?
It is good enough.
Ms. Hanson?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. So, I mean, I would assume neither one of you guys would like any more of these somewhat hostile messages to be exchanged back and forth, correct?
My business not with her anymore.
Okay. So, by that logic, it seems we have, as mediators, done the best of what we can do in this situation. We have brought understanding to each of you about the situation. You have, a course of action that you now would like to follow. And Ms. Hanson, you have, seemingly adequately expressed yourself today, and your concerns. So, with that, I don't believe we have anything else to cover. If you guys would like to shake hands, we do encourage that as a.
For the reason being, I'm sick, I will not.
Okay. Well then, we do have nothing further to converse about. We would like to thank you guys for taking the time to come in today and, be willing to both listen to each other's perspectives to obtain, a little bit more ground for the both of you. Not, it is an exchange. It is never just one person walks away with more than the other. And so I just want, I'm glad we could come to some sort of resolution today, you guys.
Okay.
So, mediation debrief. Alright, so question number 1, how well prepared were the parties in terms of reading and understanding their roles? Please comment on how and whether the parties would have benefited from further study of their character roles, emotions, needs, interests, bargaining points, facts, relationships, etc.
I don't know, I feel like there wasn't a lot of content or character build behind either of the
I felt like
on this.
I felt like in terms of like your character, it was really just like, it seemed more of like a factual, like, my components have been satisfied, I don't know what else you want, like, and then for you it was like, okay, well, I feel like he hasn't paid, he hasn't contributed, he hasn't, you know, he hasn't really worked to be a part of this homeowners association, and then that was like when you brought up your past and like how that factored into, and then I kind of got like a better image of like how that factored into your perspective about like the freeloading, and that's why I spent like a lot of time like, right, but there's nothing we can do about that, like.
So when I was reading the script for Milakovic, I didn't want to come off as like just a raging racist and just like completely thwart everything. Rather, I wanted to go into a little more calm, but clearly like I just want to like handle this because I have a problem and I want it solved. I want to see equality.
I mean, and another thing is I felt like there weren't like really bargaining points. It was more just like points of view. Like
Yeah.
in the past, there have been like ultimatum, like
I
want
gotta
this,
give
yeah.
this up and you gotta give this up.
yeah, but there wasn't really like an exchange here. It was more just like creating dialogue.
Yeah.
So it was like,
A lot of it was just, yeah, like when we started figuring out that she didn't really have much to say here, and I had like a lot of problems. I think it turned out a way a mediation actually might turn out, because like if I'm really racist and I'm not gonna change my ways, you're probably gonna have a problem with that.
yeah, it not so much a problem, but like more redirecting the effort into like how can I make this like
To another person.
yeah, and not make it be about like this race or like this specific application. So. Question 2, please comment on 1 or 2 points in time wherein the students portrayed the party's interest very well. Again, I felt like, you know, in terms of how you brought about like the character development was good. So it was like, all right, now let me bring up another thing. Like we had at first it was like we had to uncover that you felt like he was freeloading, and then it was like, all right, well let's get to why you feel like he's freeloading. Okay, your past. Okay, now. What more about your past? Oh, there goes that like racial investment.
Yeah.
So it was pretty good. And then Karina was like, you were just like, it's pretty simple.
I'm a
like,
homeowner who's doing what I should be doing.
yeah.
I
And
haven't
paid to
broken
live
any-
there
I'm not
and,
breaking any rules. What's
You're
going
like-
on?
yeah, he didn't do anything wrong.
pretty much you were like,
It was
I've done everything I need to do, like why I just don't want to be bothered anymore. I guess like a question that I probably should have asked is like, why are you here? Like,
yeah, or like, why is the boy there, or,
yeah, like, you know,
I
like,
don't know. I guess he could have asked.
That is true.
That's
3, please comment on 1 or 2 points wherein the students' portrayals of the party seemed unrealistic and did not contribute to a sense of realism within the roleplay.
For me, I think it's personally how I didn't rage out a lot. I was actually
Yeah,
maybe
well,
too well.
I haven't read how big of like a factor race is for him. So like if it is like a bigger thing that was trumped up to be in the role play, I can see how that. But I mean, it kind of at the end it kind of seemed like it was something like we were like subliminally like holding on to like
Mhm.
screw this Serbian like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, that's why I was like, alright, well, can't. Let's not make this about the Serbian. There's nothing we can do about that.
Yeah, it's like, I think you have a personal issue that you should go see a psychiatrist because there's no valid
Yeah, there's-
point you
What-
can make.
yeah.
It's not valid.
what
You're
made
racist. If you hate him, it's
What-
not valid.
What made it for me, like what made it kind of one-sided was when you guys were saying that, and I was like, yeah, it may not be valid that I'm racist, but I still have feelings and I'm still scared for my own.
Yeah.
I've never, I don't know. I've never heard anyone say, okay.
I tried to defend him a
They're
little bit,
more-
but it just,
Well,
it didn't feel right. I don't know, it just
I mean,
just
it
felt kinda awkward.
wasn't. I
I
mean,
was like, how would you feel like if you had kids and there was like a teenager moving in? Like, I don't know, like, cause it didn't, honestly, it didn't make much sense to me, but I was just like trying to,
explore that. Like,
yeah, like, I don't know.
Yeah, for me it was like, well, my mom will just say that she's racist. You know, she she's like a typical Asian woman that is scared. Like she'll lock the door if a black person walks by. You know, she's that kind of person. And so I was like, look, just because you're racist doesn't mean you don't have feelings. Yeah, it may be racist feelings, but it's still feelings, and you can't disregard that. And so I don't know. For me, I just thought that was bad. But
It was. I just didn't know how to like go about like.
rewarding that.
Yeah, because it wasn't like. Oh, it wasn't like okay, obviously. Because I did bring up. I was like, obviously, like it's a factor.
But it's like, you're not a psychiatrist.
Yeah, it was like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, in terms of, like, mediating, I probably should have, phrasing should have been, like, there's nothing we can do to alter the race, and it's an immutable part of this conversation, so, in that regard, the race of, this individual is.
I felt I also tackled that too when basically you guys were telling me that I was racist. I was like,
Well, no, see,
Okay,
I
no.
inquired, I was like, I wanted to make sure, but I was like, one thing I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do that, I was like,
Should I call him out on his racist?
well, no, I think it was good. I think it was good because
that's
like for
the
me, I was like,
definition.
what?
I was like,
Okay, I'm racist. No, but I don't know. For my character, I was like, okay, I'm racist, but that still doesn't mean you can disregard how I feel.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I feel like honestly, like. If it
But
was
it's
a
not
real
like
mediation-
something you could change.
It wasn't.
yeah, and that's why
Okay,
even
well,
I
we can't change his
that's why
race,
even I said I was like,
so-
look, I'm an old person and I have a long background. The way when I see things and like when I see things and experience things, that becomes how I see things. And if I'm racist by definition, then that's how I am. I can't change that. So I was like agreeing.
yeah, when
I was
you were
trying to,
just
like-
like, does that make me racist? I was like,
No, and I was hoping you would try to do something, like try to let me know, yes, you are racist. Oh man, that worked out. I think we went off question.
Yeah, we did, but it's fine, it's all part of it. Provide a comment to each student / party as a way to improve their role play.
You need to speak up more, Bernard.
Yeah.
I mean, as a mediator, I kind of feel bad that I was like, I took the reins a little bit too much, and I don't know, I was just like, I felt like it was just like, I was like, so like, passionate about like solving like,
Yeah, like
it's,
racist
like,
doesn't.
I was like, there's nothing we can do about that, like,
I was
the law
gonna-
is satisfied, can't do anything about that, like.
Not
I was
a
gonna say-
wizard.
Yeah,
alright.
yeah.
So I was like, you're a wizard, Harry. But I was just like, there's nothing. I mean, nothing. That's why I was like, it's de facto. Like, there's nothing we can change about that. Like, I was like, I don't know. It's hard to.
I was gonna mention what we could do, what as mediators what we could have done was have more time to just let us speak, because like there were times where we got loud,
Yeah.
and like we were about to say something beneficial.
It seemed like it was like when I stopped you guys, it was like we're going up, and then we're about to shoot to like destructive. So I was like, all right,
But
let's.
I don't think I was.
that never
Yeah.
really happened.
No,
Yeah.
And I think it's because you didn't give that a chance. And so with that
Yeah.
said, there was a lot of emotion lost in the mediation because
I can see that.
He threw us off.
I was like I was like let it happen
I mean,
maybe once, you know. Just so you can see like what will actually turn out or
Yeah.
whether or not it wouldn't.
And I think it's important for the like, what do they call player one? Or party one to express how they feel, at least, like you said, like once to
Yeah. Because
talk to each other
there
and
were-
see how it goes.
the way I wanted my character to work was I was like gonna be logical but illogical in my racism. And I wouldn't rage out, I would just be like a kind of well kept, but I'm never gonna like lash out at anyone. Maybe that was a flaw, but I wanted to try that out, so.
I mean, not all racism is like obvious,
Yeah.
so it works.
Alright, next question.
Please comment on the general dispositions of each mediator: nervous, relaxed, non-serious, uptight, legalistic, etc.
I felt like you had something against me. And
Is that like how it came
That's-
off? Like,
I felt like I don't know.
I felt like during the first half, I felt
It wasn't
attacked.
like your usual.
I feel like we came on to
Yeah.
you strong only because of the situation. Like we kind of already knew it. It was just like, I don't know. In my head, it was just like there's no validity to his argument. Like what are we here for type of thing. So it was just like
I really just wanted to get clarification.
Yeah,
like,
I
that's
was
what
more inclined to listen to your reasoning for like why you decided to do the whole mediation.
And like my comment on that would be like, when we started off, it felt like you guys were getting that information by saying, "Isn't it like that?" You know, not the exact phrasing, but basically you're
Kind of
phrasing it
implying-
and then saying, "Is it like that?" And I was like, yeah.
Trying to reframe.
But-
I was trying to reframe it.
Yeah, but the thing is, I didn't get to say a lot, so for you to reframe. So I was thinking you should have let me say it myself, and then you can reframe it, and then. But yeah, that's how I felt at least, because I was there for a good like 20 minutes. I was like, she hasn't like, you know, knowing the process. I was like, she hasn't said anything yet, or you guys aren't switching over.
Yeah,
You
but I
guys
was like-
didn't like switch over, like,
Yeah.
okay, tell me your side.
I felt like it was super fast,
I
too.
did try though. I was like, cause we had like this big part, and then I was like, so there's nothing else you wanted to express, and I was like, okay, well, what happened here? And then you guys got into like stage 2 and kind of just like started like small exchanges, and I was like, okay, and then I kind of like tried to like retract.
But it wasn't
a
that
bit.
bad at first. It was just like we were just asking each other rhetorical questions, but it wasn't like yelling. You know, I was like, maybe you could give that a little bit more time.
It might be the,
than
like,
before.
It might be like the audio in the room that kind of like distorted it for me. Like, because I genuinely felt like it was like a little bit like louder than that. I was like,
The lighting in here is pretty bad too. I don't know.
I hope it's not bad for the.
no, it seems like the camera's pretty good.
But yeah, like, I don't know.
I mean,
I felt it's
I mean that's did the above disposition seem to help the parties and contribute to a sense of effective dialogue? So obviously we've identified that the dialogue could have been
Yeah.
like better facilitated.
In the end, it helped, but it was like, damn. Like I said, like I feel quite bad walking away from that. I would be like, that wasn't really good for me.
I mean, but like,
Like it's good. It's good for me in the sense that I know what I'm gonna do now. I'm just gonna bring it up with them. But whether or not I feel like I was like rightfully defended or anything like that, no.
Or
Yeah,
just
see, but we're not-
understood.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, as a mediator, I felt like I understood the character. Like, I just didn't know how to like go about.
But just in his sense, like you feel like justice wasn't really served, and you're.
I mean, but now I guess like if I'm talking to Robert, like my question would still be like, how do you see that going differently?
For me, I would just be like, letting me speak more about it to gain that information, and then rephrasing, and then after that, maybe switching over, and a little bit sooner rather than, and spending more time on her character rather than how
So
much time
then
was
he
spent
could
on-
listen to me.
Yeah, and like I really felt like we spent a long time on me, and then there was like little to
Yeah.
no time spent on
Because
him.
I feel like he didn't know how I felt
Yeah.
Yeah.
at first.
He kind of found out some information.
Yeah.
That was really important too,
Yeah.
but it came in way later. I was like, damn.
Like that information could have came out earlier
Yeah.
if it was a real mediation.
Kind of like if I had held phase 1 longer, and spent more time just diving into your side of the story.
Yeah.
Instead of just letting it flow on to like stage 2, because there were parts where I was like let's just go ahead and respect, and we'll get to you, but I guess like we didn't really get to you as in depth.
I felt like there were actually a good amount of chances where we could move into phase 2, and you skipped like the first few, which was good because we still need to get out information. And then on one of them you jumped on it, and I was like, oh no, not yet, because I don't like I hear nothing. So I was like, but yeah, it was like overall though, it got the job done. But yeah.
I mean, but we're here to facilitate communication, so in some ways there's a bit of a failure. Did each mediator seem to push for a solution? If yes, how did that pushing impact the parties?
You guys messed up a few times and said that you were looking for a resolution, but then you caught it really fast right
Yeah.
afterwards. You're like, oh well, what we mean by that is, and then you stated it correctly. So really, at first I noticed that, and then as the character I noticed that I was like, you're not gonna find a resolution here just because I was
Yeah.
apparently racist
Yeah.
and stuff like that, right? So I was like, what? And then when you rephrase, I was like, okay. So really, it was good.
Wait, what's the question
Did we push for a solution? If yes, how did that affect the role play? Like, how did that, if we did push, how
It
did that
didn't
affect you
affect
guys
too
as
much.
party?
It didn't affect too much for me.
It didn't affect, I think you gradually flowed into it. You weren't like, so what, I never heard you guys say like, what should we do? How should we fix this
I
exactly?
mean, I feel like we asked you guys, like, what would you like out of this? Like, what would
Yeah.
you, if
And that's logical. It's like, you know, like if you're here and you're like struggling to deal with this situation, like what do you want? You know, so it makes sense. So it's not like looking for a solution, but just saying for understanding purposes, what do you want? You know?
But I felt that you guys did a good job at like putting yourself in our shoes and then kind of like saying it for us.
I feel like Bernard and I both gave you guys each like a hypothetical like situation that kind of like was on the other side. Like, I think I asked you about.
I don't remember.
Yeah. But I know I had one that Bernard, did it with the whole kid, and I was like, okay, that was a good one too.
There were some points where I felt differently actually. I felt like you were trying to like to talk about my situation in a way is like, so this is actually how you're feeling because of this and this, and I was like, you got half of it right. And then but you kept trying it and you actually started getting it afterwards. So I was like, it's good. It's a great job actually. So like connecting it back to what like Ballham would say is like sometimes you're gonna fail at it, but as long as you just keep getting it right, it's fine. So yeah, that was great.
In your observation, did each mediator seem to understand the nuisances of the parties' respective feelings, needs, emotions, and points of view? Please provide examples to help explain your answer.
I think we already answered that question.
Did I understand her perspective?
No, so did we understand both of your guys'
Oh, yeah.
like, perspectives?
Yeah. Yeah, just go to the next question. We answered that one.
Yeah.
What specific tools, character traits, or qualities did each mediator convey that worked well, and why?
You did a lot of phrasing. That was good.
I feel like you did more validating than I did.
Validating
Yeah.
was spot on with you actually. There was a point where it wasn't, but then you guys made up for it in using other techniques, so it was just fine.
I feel like you used a good amount of I statements. I think mine was more of like
Yeah,
questions.
I heard a lot of I statements from you and then a
The
lot
questions
of
were good.
rephrasing.
Damn, it felt like leading questions, but my
I feel like I
character
didn't have any
was-
questions, so.
Like
Yeah.
ask to you
Yeah.
or like to
Yeah, I
ask.
was like,
I had a lot
I
of
didn't
questions
have
asked to
any,
me.
like a lot of open-ended questions, just like, so.
Is that right?
is
Yes.
it- And how is it?
Oh yeah, the
in
first
school?
question.
Yeah.
I was like,
It was cool because like I got to see your character go from like pissed to like okay.
yeah, he's just racist, yeah.
yeah, I'm just racist.
I'm sorry, okay? Yeah.
Well, it was more like, it's like I understood, like I was wrong, but it just brought up like when I was trying to talk about it, I was like, it still brought up the other issue that then he's just freeloading and taking advantage of it, which is a part of the big problem that even in the script it said.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, I was like,
I just didn't know how to like address like, but like if it's taken care of, if everything's being paid, everything's covered. So you're really like,
so it,
you're worried about his interpersonal relationship with Miss Hansen.
no. Rather, I'm worried about
Because
his being in the same area, just because I'm racist, you know.
okay.
And because he's in the same area, I feel like one, it's unfair. Two, it makes me feel unsafe.
He's kind of
And-
jealous.
And yeah,
He's like, I
I'm
wish I
very
was
jealous.
18
I,
years
I, I
old.
wish I had been given these things. Like,
No. Like I hinted at that a lot. I was like, my people never got that. You know that those are
Yeah, you did say that.
your typical things that says like, what the hell? I'm jealous.
Mhm.
You know, like I never got that. He's still freeloading and it's easy for him. All he has to do is ask stuff like that. I was trying to give you guys a lot of hints on that. But yeah.
Did we?
But then wouldn't it be like wrong for the mediator to be like, so you're jealous?
I think
Yeah.
so. Like, well, no, because I mean,
Is that-
while
I feel like there's a way you can
it could be a poor like that could be a poor way to like
to rephrase
communicate
it.
it. Like, so you're I guess the way to phrase it would be like you're feeling like you missed out on an opportunity that
Mhm.
is being offered to them but not to you, and then okay,
And
so in
then-
my mind I'm like, so you're jealous.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
and therefore calling it an injustice. You know,
Right.
like that would be like, boom, you
So
got
have to
it.
like you have to
got
like
it.
euphemize those like potentially like offensive words like,
Yeah.
That's true.
hey Bernard, are you jealous?
Mhm.
Like,
Let's just say yes. to
Yeah.
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So do we have any qualities that we use that need attention or changing?
Qualities.
So tools, character traits, or qualities.
For everyone in
No,
the
for the mediators.
for mediators. Well, we already stated a little bit more patience. Let us tell the story and then just use our techniques afterwards.
Mhm.
Pitching in more.
Um,
Yeah.
Well, then I think that covers this mediation debrief. Let's go ahead and move on to scene 2.
Oh, let me go ahead and switch out the battery. This new one.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm gonna have to